Alright, before I go into this video, I just wanted to say that all these songs are not in any particular order. They are in a randomized order because some people are probably going to be like, that should be at number 1, not number whatever number it is at. So anyways, on with the video. So here are 10 songs you didn't know were covers. So number 10 is Twist and Shout. The original version was by the Top Notes and was released not on any album in 1961. And then the Beatles put it on their album, Please Please Me, from 1964, and it hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it stayed there for 4 weeks. Number 9 is I Love Rock and Roll. The original was by the Arrows, and then Joan Jett covered it and made it the most famous version of the song. And back in 1981, put it on her album I Love Rock and Roll, which was released in 1982. The single was released before the album came out. Number 8 is Hard to Handle. The original version was by Otis Redding, a singer from the 60s, and it was originally on his album, The Immortal Otis Redding, from 1968. And then the Black Crowes did it on their debut album, Shake Your Money Maker, from 1990. And number 7 is All Along the Watchtower. And the original was by Bob Dylan on his album John Wesley Harding from 1967. And then the cover version was by Jimi Hendrix, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and was on their last album, Electric Ladyland, from 1968. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience put it in the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience's version came out before Bob Dylan's version did. Number 6 is Come On Feel the Noise. The original song was by Slade and was not put on any album. This was released back in 1973 just as a song. And then Quiet Riot did it on their first American release, Metal Health, back in 1983. Now, a fun fact about Quiet Riot is Randy Rhoads, the guitarist of the late great Ozzy Osbourne, played for Quiet Riot on their first 2 albums, which were released in Japan only back in 1978. Number 5 is Smokin' in the Boys' Room. The original was by Brownsville Station on their album Yeah back in 1973. And then Motley Crue covered it on their album Theater of Pain from 1985. The next, and number 4 on our list, is New York Groove. The original was by a band called Hello and was put on their album Keeps Us Off the Streets back in 1975. And then Ace Frehley, one of the members of Kiss, one of the original members of Kiss, put it on his self-titled debut album in 1978. Now, interesting thing here, so the original members of Kiss back in 1978 released 4 solo albums simultaneously on the same day. So there was Paul Stanley, who was the lead singer and rhythm guitarist of Kiss, Ace Frehley, the guitarist of Kiss, with his album Ace Frehley, Gene Simmons, the most famous member and the bassist of Kiss, with his album Gene Simmons, and Peter Criss, the drummer, with his album Peter Criss. And number 3 is Blinded by the Light. But the original was by Bruce Springsteen and was put on his debut album, Greetings from Asbury Park, NJ, which is short for New Jersey, back in 1973. The cover was by Manfred Mann's Earth Band back in 1976 on their album The Roaring Silence. Number 2 is kind of shocking, is Dazed and Confused. The original was by Jake Holmes on his album The Above Ground Sound of Jake Holmes back in 1967. It was more of a folk rock song. And then Led Zeppelin put it on their debut album Led Zeppelin 1 back in 1969. And then finally, the most shocking of them all, well, not really shocking because he never wrote a single song of his, Hound Dog. As you know, the cover was by Elvis Presley and it was released as a single on no album back in 1956. The original was by Big Mama Thornton from 1953, and it was also not included on an album. It was more of a blues song, if you know what I mean. So, that is all for today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Bye.